Welcome back. Welcome back. Got a show lined up today. Yeah, you know what show it is. College Ball J Dog. Before we get into it, you know what I'm going to ask? Do that YouTube stuff for me. Like, share, subscribe. If you ain't subscribed, please hit that bell. Go up, hit all. It'll help you get my videos. We're trying to get to 100 by week 1, y'all. We're at 42. We're basically halfway there. I think y'all can help me get there. Y'all step up to the challenge for me. Help me get there. I'll be forever grateful. Y'all want to be the guy at the water cooler or the guy at work or around your buddies that don't know what's going on in the football world. So watch my videos. Go show your buddies up. Make fun of them for being the guy that don't know. 19 days till kickoff, y'all. This Saturday is the last Saturday without football till December. I'm ready. You're ready. Everybody's ready. So start subscribing. Getting quite a few viewers on most videos now, which is awesome. Make sure you're subscribing when you're watching so we can build this channel. AP poll come out today. Theirs is a little different compared to the coaches poll, y'all. By the way, we're going to go over the AP poll. We're going to compare it to the coaches poll. Then we're going to go over fall camp day 9 notes for the Vols. So y'all lock in. Get your snacks, get your dinner, whatever you do when you sit down and watch these videos. Number 1, Texas. We'll start at the bottom, go to the top. That's the best way to do it. Boise State's 25th. Pretty sure they're 25 in the coaches poll as well. So Tennessee at 24. Pretty sure we're 18th in the coaches poll. So that's a 6-rank difference out there for the Vols. Texas Tech at 23. Iowa State at 22. Ole Miss at 21. Indiana at 20. Guess people's more sold on Indiana than I am this year. I know they had a good year last year. They lost their quarterback. Yeah, they brought in a guy from Cal, Mendoza. Still not that sold on them. Their schedule, I think it's a little harder this year than it was last year. Last year it was ranked in the hundreds. Shouldn't get rewarded for a schedule in the hundreds. Anyway, A&M at 19. Till they prove otherwise, they're going 8-4. I mean, that's their yearly record. Oklahoma at 18. I don't know about that one. Yeah, they brought in a good quarterback. Their over-under win total 7.5. They got a tough schedule. I don't know. I don't agree with that one. Kansas State 17. I ain't going to argue with that one. I think they're the best team in the Big 12. SMU 16. I think they're probably right where they should be. Florida at 15. Now, what did Florida do last year to deserve to be ranked 15th in the country? Yeah, they beat LSU and Ole Miss in the season. But before that, what did they do? Tell me in the comment section if you think Florida should be ranked in the 15. I don't think they should be ranked at all until they prove something on the field. But the fact they're 15 is crazy. They're ranked above Tennessee in both polls. I think in the coaches poll they're 17th. Michigan at 14. It's a lot of faith in a true freshman quarterback. Their schedule ain't that hard. Whoever wins them against Oklahoma probably end up being 8, 9-win team, and whoever loses will probably be 7, 5, 8, and 4. South Carolina at 13. I'm just not buying the hype. They had a good year last year. I think their schedule's tough this year. I think their schedule will be the reason they finish like 8 and 4, maybe 9 and 3. They're over under 7.5, so I'm going over on that, but it's still, I think 13's a little high. Illinois at 12. I think Illinois is way high. I think Illinois is maybe a top 25 team. I'm just not sold on like everybody else. Luke Altmaier's a pretty good quarterback. They lost their running back. Not a big fan of Brett Bielema. He does a lot better in the Big Ten than he does the SEC. I'll give him that. He's going on about how SEC needs to play non-conference games to make it fair. And all you need to know about how hard the SEC is compared to the Big Ten. Brett Bielema in the SEC won 33% of his games. In the Big Ten, he's won 66%. So, if anybody doesn't know, he should know how much harder the SEC is than the Big Ten. Arizona State at 11. A lot of people's high on Arizona State. I'm not that high on them. I think they're going to be probably 8 and 4, 9 and 3. So I'd have them probably top 25, but nowhere near top 10. I think Cam Scatterbo was a lot more important to that team than a lot of other people did. A lot of people's high on Sam Levitt. I'm not quite as high on him either. Miami at 10. They're buying the Carson Beck hype. I'm not. I think last year we kind of seen Carson Beck's true colors. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. Can he get back to 2023 Carson Beck? I personally don't think so. LSU at 9. I understand the hype. They brought in a lot of guys. A lot of people's picking LSU to win the title. Me personally, till Brian Kelly wins big games consistently, I'm not buying it. That's just me. I think LSU go 9-3, 8-4 like they do every year with Brian Kelly. Alabama at 8. People's high on Bama too. They got some returning production. A lot of people think they're going to have a good defense. I'm not going to argue with them being top 10, but I'm kind of the same with them as I am on LSU and Miami and Texas A&M. I got to see it to believe it. From Kalen DeBoer, yeah, he done it elsewhere, but that's different than doing it in the SEC. Oregon at 7. I'm not going to argue with that because their schedule is so weak. Their hardest game the whole season is Penn State, and that's it. They only return 5 starters, so they may have a hiccup early in the season. If they do, then I could see them being worse than top 10, but they got the talent. They got an easy schedule. They'll probably stay in the top 10 all year. Notre Dame at 6. Not buying it. I'd have Notre Dame probably about 15th till I see what their quarterback looks like this year. Georgia at 5. Never going to argue with Georgia in the top 5 with all the talent they have. Clemson at 4. This is kind of a make or break year for Dabo on whether or not him staying old school and barely using the portal is the right decision or not. He's got the most returning production in college football. Week 1 against LSU is going to be huge for both teams. I think Clemson beats LSU. I think Clemson has a pretty good year. So I'm not going to argue with them in the top 5. I'd flip Ohio State and Penn State. I'd have Ohio State 2, Penn State 3, Texas 1. If I'm not sold on Penn State, just to be honest, I'd probably have Penn State further down than they are, but I definitely wouldn't have them above Ohio State. I wouldn't have them above Clemson. I wouldn't have them above Georgia. So I'd probably have Clemson or Penn State around 7 or 8. I'm not a believer in Drew Aller. Again, in games against top 15 opponents, he's a 53% passer, so he's not really gave you no reason to be a believer in him. But some people still believe in him. Not me. Boise's ranked 25th in both polls. I don't think Boise's a top 25 team this year without Ashton Jeanty. Can't remember who they play week 1, but it's possible they lose week 0. I think they play week 0. Either week 1 or week 0. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember right now, so I think Boise could lose their first game. We'll go over that as the season gets closer. But I wouldn't have Boise top 25. Ashton Jeanty carried them last year. He's not there no more. So I'm not high on Boise. So here, the bottom one is the coaches poll. Top one is the AP poll. So Boise is a 25 in both. Texas Tech's right about the same area. The AP don't have BYU ranked. Coaches do. A&M is 22nd or 21st in the coaches. They're 19th in the AP, so AP's a little higher on them. Tennessee's 18th in the coaches, 24th in the AP, so the coaches are higher on us. I personally go with the coaches poll over the media poll because coaches know more about football, even though they're wrong a lot too. It's pretty close on most teams. Ole Miss is a big difference. They're 21st in the AP, and they are 15th in the coaches. Michigan's 14 in both. South Carolina's 13 in both. Illinois is 12 in both. SMU 16 in both. Florida 17th in one, 15 in the other. Indiana's 20 and 19. So they're both pretty close. There's a few teams that are a few spots higher and lower. Us, Ole Miss. A couple other teams. So y'all tell me in the comment section which poll you think got it more right. I'm going to go with the coaches poll. I think just off of us and Ole Miss, I think the AP poll got that wrong. I think we're going to still be a 9-10 win team this year. I think Ole Miss will do the same. So I'm going to go with the coaches poll being a little more accurate. Like I said, y'all tell me in the comment section what y'all think. I wanted to go over that. I think the AP poll, really, I don't think the only poll that should come out preseason should be coaches poll. And then the AP shouldn't even do a poll until 3 weeks into the season after you've seen people play some games. And that's all we're going to go over on the polls. We're going to hop in to fall camp updates for Tennessee today. While we were watching, Jeremiah Hurd was repping second team left tackle. Bennett Warren was repping second team right tackle. That's been normal all spring practice. Bennett Warren has repped second team at left tackle. I think he'll be the backup at either spot when the backup is needed. On to routes on air, where it was pretty rough session. Jake Merklinger had his worst session of the preseason and was inaccurate throwing the football, completing just 6 of 15. Shoo. Aguilar was 16 of 18. McIntyre was 12 of 15. Merklinger had a rough day, y'all. I'm reading these first time with y'all. I just screenshot them, go over them with y'all. Merklinger 6 of 15. I mean, that's atrocious for routes on air, y'all. I mean, hopefully he bounces back tomorrow. I think that puts Aguilar even more comfortable in the lead, though, since he was 16 of 18. Drops are an issue from the jump with Mike Matthews. Ethan Davis are dropping passes from Merklinger. Deshaun Brain, Miles Kitzman also had drops on passes from Merklinger. Cole Harrison dropped a pass from Aguilar. while Darius Jackson dropped a pass to McIntyre. We've been a lot more crisp on routes on there, and then the first practice after the scrimmage, we're back to dropping passes. Hopefully, that's just a one-day thing. They get back on track. Just a little hangover from the scrimmage, a little beat up. We did get to see Tennessee's quarterbacks toss some deep balls. Merklinger really struggled here, missing balls down the sideline and down the seam. Aguilar didn't have a deep ball down the sideline, hit the ground. The two of his throws were underthrown. I'd rather it be a little underthrown and your receiver have a chance to go up and get it than it be overthrown by 5-10 yards like we've seen the last 2 years from Nico and Joe Milton. Put the ball where your receiver at least has a chance to go get the ball. Aguilar did have one deep ball on the money and threw good passes down the seam to Ethan Davis and Mari Jefferson. The only Aguilar deep ball to hit the ground was a pass down the seam to Harrison, where the young tight end seemed to run the wrong route. So Aguilar was accurate today, y'all. He's 16 of 18, and he had a drop. And then a guy run the wrong route. So it sounds like Aguilar's taking control of the starting job like I've said he would, probably from day one of fall camp. Just feel like his experience. He's got 5 years of experience compared to Merklinger's 1 and McIntyre's 0. I just figured his experience would win out in the end. And it sounds like that's what's happened. McIntyre was solid throwing the deep ball with one incompletion coming on an overthrow down the seam to Jack Van Dorselayer. The lanky freshman has the most aesthetically pleasing deep ball of any of the quarterbacks. Ricky Gibson was back out there full go after missing some time last week. Jamon McCoy was also going through individual drills like he did last Thursday. Boo Carter continues to be full go as well. Colton Hood remained in a non-contact jersey. Getting healthier, guys. It's a big deal. I've told you I figured a lot of the guys that were out were precautionary. Sounds like that was the case. Joey Aguilar was wearing the GoPro on the day and working on second quarterback in the rotation. Merklinger got the first reps while we were out there, with McIntyre working third. During mesh, the position groups also worked some Utah passes off play action, something Tennessee has run before in the past. So Merklinger went first, Aguilar went second while the media was there. I'm sure that changed as practice went on. They only see 20, 30 minutes of a 2-hour practice. The 3 experienced guys who will play, one up and coming and freshman Dewane Morris, who everyone is excited about, will contribute on special teams. Another freshman, Justin Baker, who has had some nice moments in camp as well. Josh Heupel obviously likes this group and loves the development of Star Thomas, as noted on Saturday after the scrimmage. Now, as one guy Heupel singled out after the scrimmage was how impressed he is with how far Star Thomas has come since he's been on campus. And Heupel's and our coaches ain't really guys that just praise people for no reason. We couldn't call this morning routes on air session the cleanest we've seen. In fact, it was a bit sloppy. Of 3 quarterbacks, Aguilar appeared to have the best day while the media was in attendance. He threw the deep ball over the middle of the field really well. It was fairly accurate elsewhere. There was one deep ball that was not a good one near the sideline. Then overall, Aguilar went 3 for 6 and passes 20 yards down the field while he was out there. Okay, one guy said he was 16 of 18. that guy said he was 3 of 6 just on deep balls. So, like I said, these reports are contradicting sometimes. You just got to take them with a grain of salt. Merklinger started rough on deep balls down the field. It rebounded some before we left the field. His first 4 deep passes were all over the place, too far out in front, behind the receiver, etc. Merklinger hit one of the 2 final throws that we saw to go 2 for 6 in the deep ball category. McIntyre's 3 for 4 in that area, though some of his passes weren't the best. I think all 3 of them were better over the middle of the field in this regard. They threw plenty more with the short to intermediate routes while we were out there. And there was some receiver drops during this time as well. Mike Matthews dropped a hitch. Travis Smith dropped a slant. Remember, drops happen. It's fair to say some of the throws were offline. The tight ends continue to be the best pass catchers on this team during fall camp. It feels like there's a sense of comfort with that group. With all the quarterbacks, Chris Broswell did more today than he has all camp. He was not full speed, but took part in some routes on limited fashion. All right, so Chris Broswell back out there practicing a little more today after his arrest. Told y'all it'd probably just be a slap on the wrist type situation. He's basically driving with the suspended license and speeding. I mean, yeah, he shouldn't have done it, but college football players get away with way worse, especially if you're good. And a bit of good injury news, veteran tight end Miles Kitzman was in a yellow jersey instead of a red one. The yellow is rather new. We believe it means they're cautiously working back into contact. Kitzman continues to look good this fall, coming off an upper body injury in the spring. So Kitzman's getting back. I've said it's basically precautionary that he was in a non-contact jersey because he's our best tight end. Freshman tight end Jack Van Dorselaer was in yellow jersey after being limited participant during Friday's practice and not scrimmaging Saturday. Van Dorselaer and Kitzman both participated in individual drills and routes on air. It was not a particular clean session for the passing game. They're still searching for a rhythm. Matthews dropped the first pass of the day from Merklinger. Junior tight end Ethan Davis dropped the second. Kitzman, freshman Darius Jackson, and redshirt tight end Cole Harrison also dropped passes. So the moral of the story of the day was routes on air was not crisp. Hopefully they got better after the media left. Today was the first day I saw Harrison participate in routes on air this fall. He was banged up to begin camp. Elsewhere in the tight end room, freshman Deshaun Brain made a couple of nice catches that drew praise from tight end coaches. Like I've said, every time we went over these, Deshaun Brain's going to be a beast. Don't know how much he'll play this year, but down the road, he's liable to be the best tight end Tennessee's had since Jason Witt. I know that's big praise for a freshman, but that's how talented the kid is. As for quarterbacks, it wasn't their best day. Jake Merklinger or the media was out there again. They only get to see 5 minutes or so of them throwing the football in the midst of a 2-hour practice. But that being said, Merklinger wasn't very accurate with the football coming off a poor scrimmage. He often let receivers too much, missed them high, threw it behind them. Sounds like competition's getting to Merklinger. He started off pretty good, and ever since camps went on and he had the bad scrimmage, it's led over into this. I think he feels like he's falling behind the competition. He's trying too hard. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. Aguilar will be your starting quarterback, y'all. Joey Aguilar continues to miss a throw or two while we are in attendance. I still think it was a solid session for him overall. He threw the ball accurately over the middle of the field. Also threw a nice deep ball, though 2 of his deep passes are a bit behind the receiver and likely would have been not being completed if there had been a defensive back. George McIntyre continues to throw a really nice ball and routes on air. He also continues to receive quite a bit of praise from within the program. McIntyre was good during Monday's session once again. So receivers struggled a little bit. Tight ends are pretty sure-handed. Sounds like Aguilar's taking the quarterback job like I've said he would from the beginning. Sounds like McIntyre is the next quarterback up starting next year. I think he'll pass Merklinger too, as much as I like Merklinger for coming in, staying, doing his job, improving. McIntyre's just way too talented to keep off the field next year, I think. So, like I said, these practice reports, don't take them to the bank, y'all, because they see 20, 30 minutes of 2-hour practice. But every day, the last 3-4 days, it sounds like Aguilar's just taking a little further step to being the starting quarterback. I said I thought he'd be from day one. I don't care who the quarterback is, as long as they do their job. I just think it's going to be Aguilar. I think Merkling will be second. I think McIntyre will be third. I think as the season goes on, once McIntyre gets a little more experience, I think he might be able to jump into the second spot. McIntyre's the most talented of all three of them. Just think Aguilar's experience wins out. I think they was a little sloppy today on the passes and stuff, a little sore from the scrimmage the other day. First time really hitting like that. Basically simulating a game. If it keeps on, I'll be worried. But if it don't, it's just a bad day after. So just wanted to cover all that with y'all. Tell me what you think about the AP poll compared to the coaches poll. What you think about the fall camp notes. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like button on your way out the door, comment. And as always, go Vols.